When you hear the sound, it's going down. NFL draft profiles continue with the Commander Lawyer, my right hand man, Cravante. Not gonna waste too much time. We're so excited. We keep playing the sound. Cravante, another, I will say, polarizing prospect, if we could say potentially. Mike Green out of Marshall. Maybe our
Yeah,
first time ever predicting or projecting a prospect from Marshall,
Marshall.
but Mike Green, not a lot of people knew about him before the year, but Mike Green, what are your thoughts on the good brother?
Mike Green is a very, very polarizing is a great word to use to describe this guy. Absolute great production as a pass rusher. I'm gonna say led the league, maybe in the future, but I believe he led the FBS in sacks this year. Very impressive bend at the waist. Has a lot of um Abdul Carter esque things about him as far as getting around the edge using speed to power. Really he's good at set up his pass rush moves. Um, being able to exploit um those tackles who have missteps and don't set correctly, or maybe don't set quick enough. But he's an absolute maniac off the edge, and he chose the best time to put up his best stats. And he has a pretty big arsenal of things he can do, as far as like the cross chop, spin, arm over, and since he has such a variety of things, he keeps the offensive tackle pretty much on their toes, so to speak.
Ronte, I'm sure you've seen the clip, but just taking a look at this right here. This was at the Senior Bowl, by the way.
And that tackle is going in the first round.
Okay. Real quick, Mike Green out of Marshall, defensive end, a senior Cravante. I love seeing the guys who play 5, 6 years in college football because it translates, in my opinion, just sometimes better. Senior out of Marshall, 6'3". He did 28 reps, Cravante, at 225, so we know he has the strength. Former, we love these guys, high school wrestler. We can name plethora of prospects on the offensive line, especially with these former wrestlers. They got good footwork, good technique. They can get leverage. We love the former wrestlers.
Use the hands.
Yes. Now, before he went to Marshall, he spent 2 years at Virginia, Cravante. And in the year he played at Virginia, 43 tackles, 9 tackles for a loss, 4.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble. This year, Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Year, 17 sacks, Cravante, 22.5 tackles for loss,
Whew.
84 tackles overall, 2 PBUs, and he was one of the standouts, as you can see, at the Senior Bowl. Honestly, after a play like that, you don't even have to play in the game. When you make a play like that and it goes viral, and all these coaches see that, you ain't even got to play in the game. You won that weekend.
Yeah, right. And again, that's a guy that was Josh Connerly Jr., I believe, the offensive tackle from Oregon. I believe that's who that was. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but that guy who he ran over is a first round tackle. You know what I'm saying? So we see the potential in the strength that he brings. Um, but yeah, this he's a top. He has the potential to be a top tier prospect. Now, if we go to the other side, um, he's a little on the thin side. You know what I'm saying? Him setting the edge at the next level could cause a challenge. He could so he could stand to put on a little bit more to his frame, but like you said, 28 reps. Um, so he does have the potential. We see he has the potential to do so, but also um he has some off the field issues. I was just looking it up. He had, I believe he had two. sexual assault allegations, and that's never good um, for a young man that's trying to get into the NFL and in general. Not anything you want to involve yourself in when you stand a chance to make a lot of money. So he's doing himself a disservice with his involvement. Again, those are accusations. We don't know true or not, but it's two of them, so it's definitely concerning. So that's something he's gonna have to explain, which I'm sure he did at the combine, to GMs and head coaches and during his interview process, because you're gonna be making a lot of money and a lot of attention. So they need to make this, and I think he's a first round pick, even with the accusations, but GMs have to be comfortable enough with you to make such a high value pick. So that's a thing for Mike Green. But because of that, I think he'll be a late first round pick.
Cravante, I always question these guys from smaller schools. We don't see a lot of Marshall guys make it to the NFL, especially on defense. But you see them do it against the Ohio State, your team, national champions. I like when they can perform against the competition that we know will play on Sundays.
Yeah. So it is always interesting when guys go to a smaller school, but usually it sounds like he got in trouble before and then had to transfer. That's what it sounds like. What happened? But even then, he went. You said Virginia, so Virginia's not a highly sought after, not a big powerhouse football school, but seems like he got in trouble there. And usually when that happens, he's gonna have to downgrade somewhere. The fact that he's able to still get on a roster is cool, but potential is definitely there. But I got it. We're going to do a draft profile on the guy that he ran over. But like I said, that guy is that's a top tier offensive tackle there. So him being able to do that we got the Jays on too. Him being able to do that against high level competition pretty much tell me that he belongs. So he's going to slide in the first round, and somebody's going to benefit greatly from him.
Cravante, I always like to pull up the numbers. One thing that does concern people, which I wouldn't really use them on anyway, but in coverage. We know this is a passing league, regardless of the resurgence of the running backs this past year. Teams are going to throw the ball. Only 21 snaps in coverage, Cravante. So he's pretty much a rusher only. You mentioned setting the edge, but only 21 snaps in coverage. Could that be something that concerns you? I know you talked about him possibly dropping in the draft.
Nope, not at all. That is up to the defensive coordinator to put. The defensive coordinator's job is to put his defenders in the best position to succeed. I don't think putting them in coverage is putting them in the best position to succeed. So if he rushing 98% of the time, so be it, because that's what he does best. So yeah, I think he's effective against rush. Look at that! Look how fast he gets up, spin move, crazy. But he has a bunch of different techniques that he can use, which is also great. It ain't too much technique to be had dropping back in coverage. I don't like him in space. I like him going to go get the pass rusher. He reminds me of Leonard Floyd. Leonard Floyd a little bit, especially coming out.
Okay. Interesting. Where do you see him going? You mentioned him falling. Does he make it to number 29 with a certain team in DC?
I think so. I think so. He has a chance to make it to the. I think he's going to be picked in the 20s. Unless I'm trying to think about. We got guy. I need to see the list again, but I think he's going to be somewhere in the 20s. So I think he's going to be late first round, but I think it's a good chance that he's there at 29 for the Commanders. I believe the Ravens, you guys picked 25?
They picked 27 now. If they pass on his brother, I'm going to be a little upset, Cravante. I like him too. No,
I think he's going to
this is
keep
one of
that.
my favorite guys. He's rising up a lot of draft boards. I really didn't know him before the season, but to do what he did, go to Marshall, I think pass rush is at a premium. I think I could see a team like Denver at 20, Cravante. You know they've quietly had a solid offseason, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I think Steelers have more pressing needs, even though they would love, Mike Green seems like a Steeler. He's a Steeler. He's a Mike Tomlin, aka Omar Epps guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
I think the
because he's a
Chargers. What
maniac.
about that?
He's,
What about the Chargers? You know they got Khalil Mack back, let Bosa go. Maybe could bring in a Mike Green. He maybe could compare
absolutely,
to a Khalil Mack a little bit.
absolutely. Yep, potential is definitely there. Um, Yeah, I think somewhere right around here. I think the Texans are going to go tackle. I really I have the Houston Texans locked in at tackle, especially with them just trading as Laremy Tunsil. I pretty much have the Texans locked in at tackle. Matter of fact, Josh Connerly Jr., the guy that Mike Green ran over, were probably a good spot for him to be is probably right about there.
Put him
Ravens,
next to Jared
obviously.
Verse. Put him next to Jared Verse with the Rams.
Christ, Jesus Christ, man. My gosh, that'd be crazy. I think the Rams would probably go wide receiver, but yes, that would be crazy. And
Detroit.
that would be back-to-back hits on the D line for the Rams would be crazy. But I mean the
Detroit
Lions,
before you all. Yep.
the Lions, the Lions too. And of course, obviously the Commanders.
Oh,
So
don't let
yeah,
him
and
go to the Chiefs, please. Please don't.
see,
Please.
don't go to any of the Super Bowl. The people that played in the Super Bowl, no. Both of them, no. No, 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 because that's the Eagles. That's the Eagles' MO. Taking guys who have, checkered past, and they go there and they ball out of control. I would hate to see Mike Green in Eagle Green. You know what I'm saying? So if he goes to the Commanders need to go ahead and snatch him because I know the Eagles are going to harp on him.
Ah, man, it's gonna be intriguing to see where he goes. We know the premium of pass rush with the price of them going up, as you say, Cravante doesn't get cheaper. Mike Green,
No,
that cheap labor is gonna be so important, man. A lot of good defensive ends and pass rushers in this draft, though.
for sure. For sure. This is not one of those crazy drafts where quarterback is the top rated position. Quarterback is honestly on the lower end in this draft. I say this all the time since the NFL season was ending. There's a lot of good elite level talent at not so premium positions. So running back, tight end, D line in general, especially the interior of the D line, those positions that's not as highly sought after. But we'll definitely get into it. But it's some good defenders definitely in this draft.
Real quick, only 8 players, Cravante, in the 2025 NFL draft have an 80 grade for pass rush and run defense. Mike Green,
Ooh,
one of those guys. And you can see some
ooh,
other guys on there as well, but Mike Green is on there, Cravante.
my heavens. That's what I'm saying. And that's what we need. We need run stopping on the edge that can pass rush as well. So if he's there at 29, you got to pull the trigger. You got to pull the trigger.
And we'll continue pulling the trigger with these draft profiles, Cravante, here on the Flex Zone. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that bell. This is the place for all of your NFL draft coverage, giving it to you how you want it, Cravante.
When you need it.
We'll see you on the next draft profile.